10,000 fearless on the move. Let's go.
Deep in the delta where the willows grow, in the soil stained by the blood of my ancestors. Punch bowl voices call out to my soul for justice. The wicked will reap what they've sown. Spirit of Aziz is back on the rise. Soldiers in the delta kept it alive. Time to stand up, take our place in the sun. Understand the time and what must be done.
10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. Mississippi. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip.
Gotta make a move and take control. Have something we can call our own. So shine your light, help the people see that now is the time for us to be free. And if you waiting on the pie in the sky, you better wake up fast. They told you a lie, cause big fields await the wide awake man. Elijah's got the master.
10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless.
Did you say Mississippi?
Mississippi. 10K fearless on the move.
Once again, where they moving at?
Mississippi. Sip. Injustice we've had enough. All of our divisions we're breaking up. Destiny has been calling us. The spirit of the Most High is guiding us.
See, the time is now. What you waiting on? Quit shooting your brothers. Put your gun down. Come on. They got a cage waiting for you if you keep that up. Early graves coming to you. From that, can't raise you up. Now, Sister Ida B and Fannie Lou, check them out and you'll know what to do. But if you really want your enemy to be alarmed, read the final call. Follow Farrakhan.
10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless.
We got all of them in Mississippi.
Mississippi. 10K fearless on the move.
Are you listening?
Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Sip. 10K fearless on the move. 10K fearless on the move. 10K fearless on the move. In Mississippi. Mississippi. 10,000 fearless on the move.
Yes, we are back again. Assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you, and welcome once again to the 10K Fearless Tri-State Podcast. I am your host, Brother Abdul Shahid Muhammad, and once again, we have a wonderful program lined up for you this evening. We have some guests coming on, but before we do anything else, we have to acknowledge our Creator in all of our ways that He may direct tonight's path and conversation. So let me begin in the name of Almighty God, Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. We bear witness to the oneness of God, regardless to the land, label, or language we would choose to apply. We bear witness that Muhammad is His messenger. We bear witness to all of the prophets of God and all of the scriptures that were revealed through them to the whole of humanity. We thank Almighty God for Moses and the Torah, or the Old Testament. We thank Him for Jesus and the Gospel, the New Testament, and we certainly thank Him for Muhammad and the Holy Quran. Please allow me to greet all of you with the greeting words of peace in the Semitic language of all of the prophets, and yes, including Jesus. He said it just like this when He said, "Peace be unto you." When He met and greeted His disciples, He said, "Assalamu alaikum." And those words mean, may peace be unto you. We're going to get it started this evening. We have as our guest this evening our brother from the Buffet radio program, The Change FM 92.7. You can hear him every Sunday afternoon at 2:30. Brother Kiefer Dale DeBerry, he's on standby, and I'm sure he can hear us, and we certainly see you on the panel, brother. We'll be unmuting, and we'll begin that conversation at about 7:30 p.m. And in addition to him being on, we have our brother and sister, Antoine and Rolanda Lester of Care Now, and they are the tip of the spear as it relates to the activities that will be going on this weekend in Holly Springs, Mississippi, and Marshall County with the Juneteenth celebration. You all don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. As always, and I see you all coming on. I see my brother Keith, brother William, sister Audrey, and sister Shahida, and everybody is coming on to tune in to tonight's program. And you all just buckle in. It's going to be a very, very good discussion. Our discussion tonight is the third annual Juneteenth Festival, Marshall County, Mississippi, and Holly Springs, entitled Still Re-Rise. And we're going to have a discussion on how to use the Juneteenth festivals and other celebrations of the like to inspire Black people to better exercise our freedoms, to bring about justice and equality for ourselves. And I think that is a legitimate and timely discussion. And I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to having a good time. But we always lay some ground rules in the form of what I call axioms that I ask our listening audience and those who will be part of this discussion to keep in mind as we go forward. And make sure, because I'm expecting, I think that's one of our guests. Yes, I think that's her. Oh, no, they're already on. Okay. I got you. That's not her. But as we have tonight's discussion, we want you to keep a few things in mind. I call them axioms or guiding principles that undergird the conversation. And these are some principles that were given to us by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And there are others that I use, like from Carter G. Woodson. I use one from Alexander Solzhenitsyn. I use one from Victor Hugo. But one from the Honorable Louis Farrakhan that I would like us to keep in mind as always, and he said, quote, "He who gives you the diameter of your knowledge prescribes for you the circumference of your activity." If you know anything about geometry, circumference is the distance around a circle, and the radius is what dictates, or the diameter is what dictates the circumference. So if your diameter is short, the circumference is not very big. The broader the diameter, the bigger the circle or circumference you make. So as we know, historically speaking, the diameter of knowledge that's given to us by those who have sought to always marginalize us and be the thought police for us and to control the narrative of our lives have always given us a very, very short diameter. But with the easy access to information nowadays, with the advent of the smartphone and the internet, the information superhighway, people can avail themselves to information that's way outside of the diameter of knowledge that they have always wanted to give us and confine us to, so they can prescribe the circumference of our activity, because you can't do any better than what you know. Second one I like to give to us from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is his definition of a slave, when he said that a slave is one whose power and authority is ruled over by another, and whose sphere of freedom is limited according to the wishes of his master. Wow, very powerful. Third one I like to give from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan when he said these words, and this is instructive to all who aspire to anything, particularly to lofty goals and to aspire to greatness. He said these words because there's always ups and downs in those types of pursuits. You have good days, you have bad days. You stumble, you fall, you dust yourself up, and you get up again, and you get back on the ladder, and you continue your climb. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gave us this to think about as we pursue these lofty goals in particular. He said, when you see men fall, don't laugh, learn. Learn because you're on your way up. And things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation, nor from the weakness that will cause us to stumble and fall. When you laugh at somebody else's fall, white or black, rich or poor, your enemy or your friend, you're laughing and opening up a way for your own demise when you do that. Because to laugh and not learn, to make mockery and not understand, is to make the same mistake yourself. Man, that's powerful. That is powerful. Lastly, I want to give you the one from Victor Hugo. Dr. King quoted Victor Hugo in the Crisis in American Cities talk that he gave in 1967 when he asked, or when he said this, or made this quote from Mr. Hugo. Mr. Hugo said, quote, "If the soul is left in darkness, sins will be committed. The guilty one is not he who commits the sin, but he who causes the darkness." It speaks to a scriptural reference in my mind when the question is asked, what man having a light would hide it under a bushel basket? Now, what kind of person would do that? Those are just a few, or those are the ones that we are choosing tonight that we would like to use to undergird our conversation. And as we go forward, let me go back to the dashboard and see, have the Lesters decided to come on? Yeah, they're not going to come on till about 7:30. I see my brother Kiefer DeBerry on there. Brother, your line is muted right now. I'm chomping at the bit to get to you, brother, but we got a few things to cover before. That's why your interview will begin at 7:30. But you are, of course, man, listen in and see how we do it here at the 10K Fearless podcast. And I'm sure, God willing, you will enjoy it. Once again, thanks to everybody who is on already. And let me do my customary shout outs. I always love to remember our brothers and sisters who log on. But even before we get to that part, man, I'm getting some feedback here. Hold on. Okay, let me turn this down a little bit. Make sure we do stuff right here. Okay. But before we even get to our shout outs, we want to make sure we support those who support us. And we always want to give you these commercial announcements and these businesses and people that have been so kind to the 10K Fearless podcast. We'll be right back after these commercial announcements.
Taking over the world. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. I come in peace. I don't mean you no harm. I say assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. I come in peace. I don't mean you know, I don't mean you know. See, I come in peace, ain't nobody I am hurting, except my enemies, but for my brothers I am working. Cause the powers that be wanna see, that's why they're lurking. We're both making up peace, but different food we are serving. See, mine is for the fork, adding substance to the fork, and yours is for the court, doing chores for the pork. We're both getting burnt by the taste.
Spring water with natural calcium and magnesium, but zero fluoride and zero chloride. Our bottles are BPA free. Order yours today. Call us at 800-573-8033. That's 800-573-8033. Or visit us online at www.supremespringwater.com. Live supreme. Be supreme. Drink supreme. Supreme Spring Water, 801 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard, Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30314.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call Radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
What's your source for truth in news reports?
Justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Where do you turn for non-corporate driven news that's fair and balanced?
No shoot. No shoot. No shoot.
Subscribe to the Final Call News, your #1 free and independent news source that delivers hard-hitting national and international news coverage of today's political, economic, and social issues. To subscribe to local home delivery, call us at area code 662-252-8999. That's 662-252-8999. Visit our website at www.finalcall.com.
The Urban Indulgence Bath and Body Boutique. At Urban Indulgence, we pride ourselves on offering quality, effective skincare. Handcrafted with plant-based, skin-loving ingredients, our soaps and body butters will give you luxurious lather and ultimate moisture. Experience The Urban Indulgence at 3314 Poplar Avenue in Memphis, 3 blocks west of Poplar Plaza, or shop with us online at theurbanindulgence.com. Theurbanindulgence.com.
10,000 fearless on the
And we are back live with the 10K Fearless podcast. Again, I am your host, Brother Abdul Shaheed Muhammad. And tonight, we will be having a conversation with our guest in about 14 minutes or so. But we have a brother that's going to come on in a very few minutes, Brother William Muhammad. He's got some information for us with regard to the availability of food, fresh farm food, organically grown food, and staple goods. And I see Brother William on the dash. All I got to do is, hold on, where is he? Where you at, Brother William? Okay, there he is. I'm going to send him an invitation and get him on in here, Brother William. I just sent you an invite to be a speaker, brother. If you would, just accept it. Brother's got some information for us, dear family. We're working on some things here in Holly Springs, Mississippi, at the study group to make some resources available to the community in terms of food items. We have some of our family down there in Ackerman, Mississippi, Brother Musa, who is tilling the soil. And I'm sure there are other farmers locally. But brothers and sisters, we need to take better advantage in a more collective sense of those kinds of resources that are available to us. And I'm sure that those of us in our community that are in need, they should never be in need. And we will be eating a better quality of food because, as you know, at least as you should know, genetically modified organisms, they call them GMO foods. You notice how grapes and oranges and other fruits and vegetables don't have seeds in them anymore. Even watermelons, I've seen watermelons don't have any seeds. It means that watermelon can't reproduce itself. You know, back in the day, man, those black seeds, deep brown color seeds, man, you could plant them things in the ground and grow another watermelon. But nowadays, you barely see seeds in watermelons. So when I eat watermelons, I make sure I try to find one with seeds in it. And when you get the ones that don't have the seeds, something funny about the taste. They don't taste like that good old sweet watermelon that Big Mama used to have when you used to go over Grandmama's house. And they would cut that watermelon open, man. It would be so big and it'd be so juicy and sweet, and it'd be seeds everywhere. So, brothers and sisters, let's avail ourselves. I don't see my brother on yet, but hopefully he'll get on before we get out of here, because in a very few minutes, about 12 of them, we're going to have our guest to come on. We got one. Brother William said he's on. On where? I don't see you, brother. I don't see you. You have to accept that invitation, my brother. He said, I'm on. He's on. I see him on, but he has to come up. I'm sending you another invitation, invited as a speaker. All right? And you should see that invite, and you have to click on it where it says call in, Brother William. Click on where it says call in. He said he accepted it. Okay, here he comes. I see he's a speaker now, but I still don't see him in the queue. Lord help us. Y'all don't pay me no attention. But I'll stand by, brother. Once you should show up momentarily. He said he accepted the invitation. And I still don't see you. I see you're on. I see you in the list. But I'm waiting for you to come on to the co-host speaker queue, where my brother Kiefer is already on standby. No need to refresh. Everything is rolling nice and smoothly. I still don't see you, Brother William. Tell you what, Brother William, do this. Just call my phone. I don't see him in the queue. And for those that are on, my wife, boy, she is so helpful. she's telling me, I see him too, sweetie, but he's not in the co-host speaker queue. That's my other tech person. My wife is my support tech person, and she's watching the dashboard, and she can see who is on. And but Brother William, he's gonna come in the other way, and I should be hearing from him in about a couple of more seconds. He's gonna call my phone, and we're gonna patch him right in through another form of technology. Just call my phone, Brother William, and you'll be on momentarily, sir. You may not be able to do it while you're on the podcast. You'll have to get off and then get back on, my brother. But brothers and sisters, we got a good program lined up. As I said, we have one of our guests already on standby, and we are expecting 2 more to come on at 7:30. As I said, it's Brother Kiefer Dale D. Berry. He is the host of the buffet. You hear dishes and spoons clanking in the background. Brother engages in deep conversations. He tackles community issues. He has the uncomfortable conversations sometimes that many of us like to avoid. It's like that big elephant or the 800-pound gorilla in the room that no one wants to acknowledge, but he's sitting there looking at everybody. Okay, Brother Will. He said his call ended. I never saw you come on, but there he is. We're going to get our brother in. Brother William Muhammad from West Point, Mississippi. Wa alaikum salam, Brother William. How you doing, sir?
Doing fine by the grace of Allah. How you doing, Brother Shaheed?
Brother, I am blacktastic and getting better. Brother, thank you for coming on. You and I have discussed this several times for you to come on and just give us a report and run down what's going on down towards West Point, Mississippi, in the farming community. Brother, what you got for us this evening?
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you, brother. As a matter of fact, I just got off the phone with Brother Musa a few minutes before I even logged in on the show, and got the latest report directly from him. Due to the rain, it has been raining pretty heavy, so they kind of pushed us back a little bit as far as being able to get into the field. We were looking at about 10 days as of 3 days ago.
Yes, sir.
So, like I said, the rain prevented us from being able to go in there and pick anything, and also, of course, the weed and the grass has to be chopped with a garden hoe.
Right.
And we also use a garden tiller to keep the rows cleaned out with the grass and stuff.
Yes, sir.
But as of right now, we're looking to get some string beans, yellow squash, and zucchini squash. Tomatoes, we got a lot of tomatoes.
Uh-oh, y'all hear that?
We got, yes, sir. Yes, sir. A lot of tomatoes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Tell us, Brother William, about the staple goods program that we got as well. And if you have something else, it sounds like I cut you off a little too soon when I chimed in there. But you got some more, but share that with us too, please.
Yes, sir. Okay, I can come back to the list and just go ahead into the staple program. I under contact for Holly Springs with the Ministry of Agriculture, and the staple programs allows not just Muslims in the Nation of Islam, but people who are out in the community to be able to purchase in bulk dry goods, non-perishable goods such as navy beans, black beans, red beans. We have rice. We have whole wheat flour and cream of wheat. And there's some other things also that can be purchased. Organic raw honey, soaps, and a few other items that can be purchased. And certain times of the year, we are allowed to, when the information comes out, we are allowed to make an order. And then after we make the order, later on, we are given the information when the food will be available, and also when do we pay for the food. And as we know, the importance of staple goods, grocery stores, the shelves are being empty. Also, this food is organic.
Yes.
Non-GMO. Let me say that too, because we know the importance of having organic, non-GMO food available.
Yes, sir.
And that's, like I say, it's not just for the members of the Nation of Islam. It's for those of our people in the community who would like to be able to store up on non-perishable dry goods.
Man, that is excellent. That is excellent. And now, brothers and sisters, as you just heard him, and we will be making this information available on this platform. We will be announcing when orders will go in. You can order through us, and you know where we're located. Those who are in Marshall County, those down there in Potts Camp, those back up towards Victoria, Red Banks, even far south as New Albany. Wherever you're at, really, if you are within a rock's throw of Holly Springs, you can give us a call at 662-252-8999 when we make the announcement of the availability and the ordering process of the dry goods. And those dry goods will be brought right to 165 North Memphis Street, formerly North Memphis Street, now North Ida B. Wells, when the orders come in, and we will contact all who have ordered. Now, I got in my house, I got several bags of Navy beans, and I can't spill the beans what I got, because I don't want y'all coming to my house knowing what I got stored up here. You know what I mean, Brother William? But brothers and sisters, we are desirous of making these resources available, as Brother William said, not just to the members of the Nation of Islam, but all who would like to purchase good, wholesome food that's organic, that is not GMO, not genetically modified in any way. They are grown on our farms of the Nation of Islam, one of which is in New Buffalo, Michigan. Yes, Michigan. And our other farm down in Georgia, where Dr. Ridgely is running our farm, and Brother William is always abreast of what's going on. Anything else before you go, Brother William? We got about 4 more minutes, and I'm bringing in Brother Kifar, D. Berry, and the Lesters will be on.
Yes, sir. In addition to the string beans, the yellow and zucchini squash, tomatoes, we also have 5 types of peppers: cayenne pepper, bell pepper, jalapeno pepper, banana peppers, and habanero. We have onions. Yes, sir. We have onions, cabbage, okra. We're expecting a real big crop of okra as well. And hopefully eggplants will be in later. And we're looking to also plant some watermelons. We're going to give it a shot again.
Yes,
and
sir.
usually when we plant the watermelons, the crows have a field day with them. So we're trying to find out what can we do to stop the crows from actually coming in, picking up the watermelon.
Yes, sir. Also, brother, what does Brother Musa have available now? I noticed he had a price list of items that's available, and I asked him, brother, bring some of those on up this way, and we'll have them right there at 165 North Memphis Street. Does he have anything available, William? Brother William?
Yes, sir. Right now, we got the string beans. We got tomatoes. The tomatoes were green from the last time I was there. Looking to have the okra. And there were a few other things. I was trying to go up find my other list, the actual price list.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For some reason, I'm not able to get to it right now.
Well, don't worry, brother. If you would, you're logged on, log back onto the program and type it in, and I will gladly announce to the audience what you have and what's available from our brother Musa Muhammad, who is farming about 7 acres. He has access to about 40. So that's what part of what the 10K Phyllis is about. Talking about 10,000 people that's united and organized to help bring solutions to the problems that's in our communities, one of which is food insecurity is a problem in our community. Of course, the crime and the violence and many other things are a problem in our community. And these cross all lines, regardless to your religious affiliation, political and otherwise. We're all faced with the same problem. So we want to be a source, an information source, as well as a material resource in terms of food, information, and the like, to be available to the members of the community and all that we can serve. So, Brother William, man, thank you. Wonderful report, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Man, we certainly appreciate it, dear brother. May God bless you. And we're going to move on. We're going to get to our guests. We're 1 minute away, and we're going to bring them in. And I give you, brother, as you came before us, I know you gave the greetings, but assalamu alaikum, sir.
Alaikum salam, sir.
Praise be to Allah. That was our brother William Muhammad. He is over our staple goods program at the Holly Springs Study Group. And as you heard, we have some good things going on. Let me bring my brother Kiefer Dale DeBerry is on. Are you there, Brother DeBerry? I see him there. Are you there, Brother Kiefer?
I am.
Say that again. Go ahead.
I am.
Praise be to Allah. There he is. We got Brother Kiefer DeBerry on with the buffet. And I'm expecting momentarily the Lesters, Rolanda and Antoine Lester. This brother, Kiefer DeBerry, as I stated earlier, he is the host of the Buffet radio program that broadcasts every Sunday afternoon at 2:30 p.m. on FM 92.7, The Change FM, right there in Holly Springs. And I think their reach, how far is your reach, Brother DeBerry?
Well, we go into a lot of counties, in Marshall County, Benton County, Tipper, parts of DeSoto County, Fayette County, parts of Lafayette County in Mississippi and Fayette County, Tennessee,
Yes,
and bits
sir.
of Shelby County.
Praise God. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay,
I think also Tate.
Oh,
Tate
yeah?
County.
Tate County as well?
Yeah.
Okay, my brother. Well, we're going to get rolling, man. As I said, we want to talk about, brother, what's coming up this weekend in Holly Springs. And you're going to be, I think, the MC. And you always do a wonderful job, but I always enjoy hearing you. But I want to first have you, if you would, I did it a little bit, but can't nobody do it like the person that I was just talking about. I can't tell it. I got to let you tell it. You know the song we used to sing in church, right? But introduce yourself to our audience, Brother Kiefer, and tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Dale Lakeefer DeBerry, and I'm an artist. Consider myself somewhat of an artisan because I craft not only out of physicality, but out of spirituality and concepts and precepts, and try to find truths in all of those. I'm an activist. I think that is a dying art or a dying love or a dying ministry. I think we as advocates often are beat up because people don't quite understand what activism is. Activism is simply an honorable position to speak for the voiceless and to challenge the status quo on the behalf of those have not. So I find pleasure in doing so or trying to do so, particularly with like-minded people such as yourself and what you are trying to do and a host of others.
Man, wonderful, wonderful. And I must say, Brother DeBerry, let me say publicly on our platform, thank you, because you have always been gracious to us to make your platform available to us. And this is the start of reciprocating that, brother. This platform is available to you whenever we broadcast. We broadcast every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. And your voice is one of the voices that I think should be heard. And the information that you give to the community of Holly Springs and Marshall County and the surrounding areas that you just mentioned is important information. And the voice for the voiceless is a voice that God is always pleased with, because God has a history of sending and raising someone to speak truth to power and to be the voice for the voiceless. So he's introduced himself to us, and I know you always busy doing something. We want to talk about Juneteenth. Brother William gave us the farm report. Brother Keeper, he's just introduced himself. Brother, tell us about Juneteenth. A lot of people, they hear it, but do they really know? And I got something written here that I researched of what they said about Juneteenth. But I know you, brother, you can spit it off the top of your head, because I've had several conversations with you and you're very knowledgeable, brother. But inform our people, brother, about Juneteenth, if you would, please.
Well, Juneteenth is an event or a holiday that was left unnoticed until, I don't forget the lady's name, it was an older sister out of Texas. Mm-hmm. I experienced the first Juneteenth when I was living in Alexandria, Virginia, mm-hmm. with the influence of Washington, D.C. and Philadelphia. And they were talking about a Juneteenth. And I, being from the South, wasn't even aware of Juneteenth. Mm. And so Juneteenth is also, it's Ebonic, if you will, You can imagine
Yes, sir.
that the African was poorly educated by design. So the word Juneteenth evolved because it's the way we say it. For example, I was thinking about that and being in prayer all week about Juneteenth, and being the MC of that program, I wanted to be prepared. I come across a word that I invented, I guess you will, and it simply says, I free. And I first started with me free or we free. And I know we are not free until we begin to do those things that you often talk about, coming together in unison and doing things as one aim and one direction and one goal and one idea and one love. So it evolved from me free and went to we free to I free. And so I want to kind of look at it from that perspective. I free being individual, and it's also a question and a statement. I free in a response to the Declaration, which we call the Emancipation Proclamation, is that I free as I am bewildered. Am I free? Because we have been lied to so often. And also I free as a declaration for the individual that have become free. And we can become free if we, you see, if we, then we can all be I free.
Yes, sir.
So that's kind of what I'm going in with it this weekend, in the spirit of reaching all of us and bringing us all into the same space.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Beautiful, man. See, you're always forward thinking. And I think that's one of the things that our community is always known for. A lot of stuff, culturally speaking, especially, was born. It's born in the ghettos among black people. And then somebody sees the value in it. And next thing you know, you see it on the national stage. I remember recently in Harlem, there's a dance called the Harlem Shake.
Uh-huh.
And I can't remember the young lady. She has a nationally syndicated news program, and they came up with a version of the Harlem Shake that was nothing like the Harlem Shake that you saw coming out of New York. And and it was like they were appropriating a cultural fad or a cultural expression that originated among us. And you see a lot of it, juking and all of the hip hop,
right,
and all of the things that, and the thing of it, we don't really give it we don't see the value in it, at least on a national scale, and the potential for it to reach around the world. It's just something that we do. But
right,
others will take it and monetize it and take it out into the stratosphere. But brother, just for our audience, Juneteenth, I just want to share a little further with Juneteenth. And brother Kiefer hit it right on the head. It's short for June 19th. But like he said, we call it Juneteenth. It's Ebonic.
Right.
But it marks the day when the federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas in 1865 to take control of the state and ensure that all the enslaved people they used freed, but I use the word emancipated. Emancipated and freed ain't the same thing, dear family. For those that are informed.
I say.
Freed means to be completely free, but emancipate means to free from one's hand, but not from one's control. But it says the federal troops arrived and came. They didn't come until a full 2.5 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation, and that Juneteenth honors the end of slavery. And it's considered the longest running holiday among us as a people. Now, just last year, or year before last, I should say, on the 17th of June, 2021, Mr. Biden officially made it an official federal holiday. And this year's Juneteenth will be this coming Monday, June 19th. And it was Robert E. Lee. He surrendered at the Appomattox Courthouse 2 months early in Virginia. But slavery was still unaffected in Texas until they came on Juneteenth in 1865, and June 19th, 1865, and the people of Texas. It was General Order Number 3 for those the history buffs out there. And I'm saying this because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said these words, Brother Kiefer. He said, history, above all our studies, is best qualified and most attractive to reward our research. So I want to ask you the question, brother, how important in your mind is it that during these kinds of celebrations, like Juneteenth, Martin Luther King's birthday, How important is it, brother, that we reemphasize and put in proper context the true history of these events, like Juneteenth and Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, since we're talking about that? Because many of our people, when I talk to them, they know very little. They have just a very cursory knowledge of Juneteenth and the Emancipation. But how important is it, brother, that we emphasize and put it in proper context to our people?
I think it's extremely important. In order for one to know his destiny or his purpose or his function, more importantly, he must know himself. And if we do not know ourselves and where we are from and who we belong to and our culture, unless other than these 300, 400 years of this inundated enslavement, then we will remain lost. But we have to reach back through those holidays and the celebrations of people like Harriet Tubman, Carter G. Wilson, all of the Africans that we can think of that we have celebrated, but it's thousands of more, particularly those that had more of a rebellious approach to the enslavement of people like Dessalines and Delroy Vesey and Nat Turner, and the list goes on, particularly coming out of islands such as Haiti. So we have to begin to learn more than just the geographical location of Africa, but the diaspora, the people of the diaspora. And we came from Africa as uniquely different people, launched together and forced together, enslaved. But we have to learn our history so we can be able to embrace each other as Africans first, perhaps, then perhaps Fulani or Benin or Nigerian. We have to see ourselves as a collective because we are in the diaspora and we have no other one to turn to but the ones that looks like us. Right. So we do not have the luxury of turning to the Kinshasa because I am Kinshasa or the Mandingo because you are Mandingo. We have to turn towards each other based upon our natural identity, which is the curly hair, the projecting jaw, the thick lips, and the black skin. And we have to begin to teach that there is beauty in that. And it's not anything to be ashamed of. I think a lot of Africans are ashamed of the enslaved experience. And I don't know why family members can't watch Roots, wouldn't dare to watch Sankofa, don't like to watch the oppressors oppressing us. But we see it every day.
Yes, sir.
So I think it's cognitive dissonance. We see oppression happening all around us. We fight for the right to vote, even though they said it was given to us as human beings. Then it was given to us in the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment. And we still fighting for these rights. And we say, well, Chinese don't fight for it and Mexicans doesn't fight for it. But they came over in a different setting. They often came over as considered bourgeois, which are shopkeepers. We did not come over as shopkeepers or as skilled laborers that's ready to go into a workforce. We came in as forced labor.
That's right.
You know, we was forced to hand over our craft, and it was often done unconditional surrender. The same as today.
That's right.
We have to surrender everything and all, and we shouldn't keep doing that. And the only way I think we stop doing it is to learn how he's doing it to us, and now how we ourselves are doing it to us, where we are the oppressed being oppressed by the oppressed.
Whoa.
You see what I'm saying? So
you got that right, brother, with the crime
yes,
going on among us.
He has been free. He has been freed from the a lot of the mundane parts of oppression because he can free himself of that and continue to advance economically.
Right.
We as Africans have to remember, particularly in the South, and the North is different from our struggle, but we're the same people in the same struggle. Right. The struggle in the South was to survive.
Yes, sir.
We didn't even have minimum human rights. You know, we couldn't drink from the same faucet. We couldn't enter into the same room. We had to lower our heads. We couldn't come through the same door.
Not even
then we had to survive and train our children how to survive. Well, in the North, later on during Jim Crow, which wasn't as much effective up there, you was fighting for fair housing, fighting against redlining, fighting against hour wages, where we was merely trying to survive. So Malcolm and Martin philosophy was uniquely different, but also uniquely the same.
That's right, man. Beautiful, beautiful, brother. Thank you so much. I see my Sister Lester is on, and I'm inviting her. If you see it, Sister Lester, I'm sending you an invite to be a speaker. Click on the call in button, and you should pop up on my screen. I call them the power couple. That's Sister Rolanda and Brother Antoine G. Okay, there she is. Peace and blessings, sis. I see you on the. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
We can hear you too, loud and clear. We got her. We got one half of the power couple of Marshall County, North Mississippi in the house, Sister Rolanda Lester. Hopefully your husband is there with you, because I know Twan G, he was having a little problem trying to get on. Is Twan with you?
He is not. He's running a little behind from that meeting.
Oh, yeah. See, both of you are always busy, and I can imagine both of your plates are full. Welcome to the 10K Fearless podcast, dear sister. Thank you for accepting our invitation. We wanted to use our platform to promote and let the people know our listeners are on and they're listening to you, and to let people know what's going on in Holly Springs, Mississippi this weekend. And it's not just the weekend. It's going to spill over into Monday. So I'm not going to go into it, Sister Rolanda. I'm going to let you tell us about, and I'm going to shift over to you. Brother Kiefer has been doing a wonderful job informing the people, our listening audience, of what's going on. So, Sister Rolanda, tell us about Juneteenth. And well, first, introduce yourself to our audience. Give us a little history of how Juneteenth got started in Marshall County, if you would share that with us.
Well, my husband and I just, 2021, decided to have a Juneteenth celebration, since we were already kind of in the groove. Mm-hmm. And then that.
Uh-oh. You're having a connection problem. You may want to be still.
Pardon me?
I said, well, you kind of glitched out. I guess you're moving around. It was a connection problem.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on.
Well, go ahead. Keep going in. We're listening.
So we decided to give Juneteenth a try, since we had already MLK event.
Right.
And so it will be at the courthouse, Marshall County Courthouse, on this coming Saturday. Mm-hmm. The parade will start at 12. And then the celebration will start after the parade. Yeah. We're going to have free tours of the Craft House, which is an antebellum home, and also slave quarters. At 1:00, there's going to be an actual reenactment. And then throughout the rest of the day, you can go over and do tours of those houses.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And also Mr. Dale, that was on the line, he's going to be our MC for the program. Mm-hmm. So then we'll have him as the MC. We'll have great speakers, including yourself, performers, all kinds of vendors, food trucks, giveaways, but mainly enlightening our community about our history.
Wonderful. Oh, sure. Wonderful. Listen, this is a question for both of you. I really want to dig deep into this. And about a couple of minutes from now, we're going to take a break, and we're going to, of course, do our due diligence and honor those people, those businesses that support us. We always play their commercials. But I really want to dig into this question. How can we practically use, and I love what you are doing, Sister Rolanda, you and Brother Antoine, you all have stepped up to the plate. I've been in Holly Springs now about 5 years, and you all are always active with Care Now, feeding people, doing what you can to improve the quality of life for people in Marshall County, and particularly in Holly Springs. How can we use the Juneteenth Festival and other celebrations like MLK Day that you all do as well, to inspire Black people to better exercise the freedom? Because Honorable Louis Farrakhan said this to us. Freedom, you cannot experience the joy of freedom if you don't have justice. Where there is injustice, it stifles and muzzles the effect of freedom in people's lives. You understand what I'm saying? Because in Mississippi, though, we're free to move about, but in another sense, we're not free, because we keep hearing of incidents happening to us and that we're doing to ourselves, where justice, like stands afar off, and equity certainly cannot enter. But what can we do? How can we use these festivals to get our people to better exercise our freedom, to bring about justice and equity? Just want to hear y'all's thoughts on it.
London?
My thought is just as so many people just don't know about a lot of things, history and things that they're dealing with today.
Right. Yes.
Just need to be. We need teaching, just a lot of teaching, I think.
Yes. And you also you hit it right on the head. Go ahead, Brother D-Berry.
Oh yeah, I think we don't recognize what history. What freedom really is in another sense. Freedom is requires one to be responsible. You see, if a child, for example, and I know I use a lot of examples, if a child desires to come in when he wants to, he desires to eat what he wants, but he's not paying for anything. He don't own the house. He's not paying for his room and lodging. So he has no responsibility, but he wants freedom. Freedom comes with responsibility. If he wants all of those things, then he should be able to pay for those things.
Right.
See, when the people in the days of Moses, for example, the allegory of Moses, they was wanting to go back into Egypt.
Come on, man.
And they talked about we live like, this, and at least we could be buried, because they wasn't willing to take on the responsibility of feeding themselves. And so has the African, but it's because of his domestication.
Come on.
We have been taught to be dependent on our master and fearful and not fearless of what we face. So we are faced with things that we are fearful of. So we run back under the Pharaoh, or we run back under Jim Crow, or we run back. It happens on your job. When a person comes to a job and you're a police officer, if you don't know your job, same as in a technical field, if you do not know your job, you feel second class or a little bit less than the other workers, because they can't call on you to fix a problem, especially when you even created the problem. But you don't know your job, so you go in fearful of that day.
Yes, sir.
And so ability, like I had to do as a functionally illiterate person in the United States military, had passed tests and could get around, the system. But I realized that I was still inadequate. I couldn't buck any system. If someone said anything to me, I had to go along to get along. Like we see in our politics. So often all they got to do is say, well, you write the letter. He can't write the letter. Or you write the congressman. He can't write the congressman. So he finds himself putting himself under a inferior position, not because he's inferior, but because of his fear. And that same fear holds him in bondage. Kind of like what you're talking about with the 10K.
Yes, sir.
If you create a fearless attitude, you free people.
That's right.
When men was not afraid to run after they had been told about the boogeyman in the woods, which is the only time a slave could escape.
Come on.
It's perhaps at night, but you have a boogeyman that he have bought into and believe. He is fearful of it, so he remains in bondage because he don't take the responsibility to find out is the boogeyman real or not.
Come on, brother. And Brother Kiefer, you spoke right into the reason I had Brother William to come on to talk about food and our staple goods program, and the fact that we have black men and women that's growing food. It's just that all of us, we're so segmented, brother.
Right.
And everybody is practicing a form of rugged individualism. And we don't see, and we're the only community that functions like that. But to your point, brother, of the fear, and we run back to Massa. The scripture calls us the children of Israel.
Right.
Children. And I was studying something, brother. The effect of long-term being in bondage or being kidnapped. they call it Stockholm Syndrome. You begin to advocate for your captor.
Exactly.
And there's another psychological malady that comes with it. They call it psychological infantilism or infantilism. The word infant means you take on the mentality of a child.
Exactly.
So like a child, the child don't believe nobody can do nothing for them but mama and daddy. They think mama and daddy Superman and Superwoman. So whatever they do is better than anything that anybody else can do. Well, black people suffer from that as a collective because we don't have any confidence in anything that we can do for ourselves or among ourselves. Just like children don't listen to other children, you know. So we can tell the truth. Brother Kiefer, I've seen you do it, brother. You can tell a beautiful truth during your program. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan does it. Many black voices have done it. I mean, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Noble Drew Ali, Ida B. Wells. Let's go to Mississippi. Ida B. Wells. You know, Fannie Lou Hamer and many, Alfred Skip Robinson and all of those voices that spoke truth. But we wouldn't take it coming from us because, you know,
that's right.
A familiarity breeds contempt.
Breeds complacency.
But white people can come and say the same thing.
That's right.
And we will accept it. And that's psychological infantilism. But man, look, the conversation is going good. Look, we got to take a break. We got to acknowledge those who always support us. We certainly don't want to forget about those people that support us. So we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back. Y'all stand by now. Don't go nowhere.
Assalamu alaikum. Hey, I just want to ask you a quick question. What's General Order number 13? All right. I'm taking charge of my post and all property and view, but I can't seem to take my eyes off you, and I can't seem to take my eyes off you, and I can't seem to take my eyes off. I'm taking charge of my post and all property and view, but I can't.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call Radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
What's your source for truth in news reports?
Justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Where do you turn for non-corporate driven news that's fair and balanced?
Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot.
Subscribe to the Final Call News, your #1 free and independent news source that delivers hard-hitting national and international news coverage of today's political, economic, and social issues. To subscribe to local home delivery, call us at area code 662-252-8999. That's 662-252-8999. Visit our website at www.finalcall.com.
The Urban Indulgence Bath and Body Boutique. At Urban Indulgence, we pride ourselves on offering quality, effective skincare. Handcrafted with plant-based, skin-loving ingredients, our soaps and body butters will give you luxurious lather and ultimate moisture. Experience the Urban Indulgence at 3314 Poplar Avenue in Memphis, 3 blocks west of Poplar Plaza, or shop with us online at theurbanindulgence.com. theurbanindulgence.com.
Taste the difference. Taste Supreme. Enjoy our 100% natural Supreme spring water with natural calcium and magnesium, but 0 fluoride and 0 chloride. Our bottles are BPA free. Order yours today
Call us at 800-573-8033. That's 800-573-8033. Or visit us online at www.supremespringwater.com. Live supreme, be supreme, drink supreme. Supreme Spring Water, 801 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard, Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30314.
10,000 fearless on the move.
And we are back live here at the 10K Fearless Podcast. Once again, I am your host, Brother Abdul Shaheed Muhammad. We have with us live and on the line our brother Kiefer Dale D. Berry of the Buffet Radio Talk program in Holly Springs, and our sister Rolanda Lester of Care Now. She said her other half of the power couple there in Marshall County. He's run a little late. He had a meeting, and I would imagine he's still planning, hitting the ground running, because they got a lot coming up this weekend. Once again, we want to thank you all for tuning in to be with us. And just to reiterate on those jingles that you just heard, we're looking for 1,000 people in Holly Springs and Marshall County and the surrounding areas. We would like 1,000 of you to subscribe to the Final Call newspaper. That is the weekly publication. It's not a religious pamphlet, listeners. It is a newspaper. We would like for you to be a subscriber. We will deliver it to your door every week. It's only $2 per copy. Spend $8 with us a month and help us clean up the community. And as our guests have been opining and giving their opinion, one of the problems is we just don't know. We're not informed. And the historical information sources that we've sought are not sources that are going to inform us on a level and in a way that we need to be informed. So subscribe to the Final Call. Give us a call at 662-252-8999. Join our email list for the 10K Fearless, because we want to round up about 10,000 of you all. We got to address our own community problems. If you want to know about the 10K Fearless, you can write us at P.O. Box 517, Holly Springs, Mississippi, 38635, or you can email us at dremuhammad1@gmail.com. That's DREMUHAMMAD, the number 1@gmail.com. That's the information. Well, we're going to get back to it. We just got 30 minutes left. Not going to hold you all much longer at all on tonight's podcast, but give us a little bit more. I want to talk a little bit more about what's happening for the entire weekend. We know Saturday, Sister Rolanda, you just told us about that. What's coming up Monday? That's the actual day of Juneteenth, the 19th. Sister Lester, tell us what's going on Monday.
We're having a Juneteenth Promote Us pop-up shop. And it will be at Oak Palace starting at 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're inviting all Black vendors to come out and sell whatever they have, promoting us. There's not going to be a vendor fee, and we're welcoming all ages.
Wow.
Promoting us, trying to bring more attention to ourselves, shopping with each other more.
Wow.
So that we can shop with each other more instead of shopping with other people or other races, I should say, because that's what it seems like they do, is shop with each other. So we need to be doing that.
Sister, you're so right. It's not what it seems like they do. It is what they do. And sometimes we are made to feel as though there's something wrong with looking out for ourselves first. And when other ethnic groups do it, it's perfectly normal. I mean, you've never seen an ant crawling around in a beehive. You've never seen a beetle crawl out of an anthole. But those things in nature sometimes will commingle, but they will not cohabit together or live in the same habitation. I see Asian people all the time, man. They shop with each other. They go to their own business, their banks, and they don't darken the door of our businesses. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but we love us some Chinese food, don't we? We go to these places, and it bothers me to watch our women get disrespected at these nail shops, and they turn right back around and continue to give them their money. And it's just a behavior that we need to stop, and we need to learn the behavior of self first. We need to learn the behavior of self first. So I've never heard of a pop-up shop where there's no vendor fee. It's a huge opportunity for small businesses and crafts people in Holly Springs and Marshall County. So look, Monday, we'll be there Monday evening, so God willing. Brother Kiefer,
what's up?
Before we get off with you, man, look, what you got going on Sunday? Are you going to be on Sunday?
I'm going to be on Sunday, and like I say, you always got an open invite. We're going to do Sunday, and just speaking on what she just talked about, like you say, without a vendor's fee, so we have no excuse to bring your craft and your wares and your merchandise or your information about organizations that you have. And Oak Palace is extending that. And give us a chance to experience shopping from each other. Now, as I have moved around in the vending circle, I learned that I had to do something, and I hope to get another sign. And it had to specifically say it was a gift shop. My booth, because I sell a lot of African jewelry or African arts and African crafts. And so often black people of African descent will come and say and state their displeasure with the African culture, as if they know no one in their family that like African culture. It's a gift shop. You're not supposed to be shopping for yourself. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm trying to teach the people to shop with each other by shopping for their aunt. You have an auntie that made like African culture or African crafts and handcrafted. You wouldn't wear it, but you got a cousin that would. So we have to begin to practice that. For example, you asking for 10,000 people or 1,000 people out of Marshall. If we open up a grocery store tomorrow and we had 60 people that committed to shop with us, they will influence a few other ones. And before you know it, we are successful. But we have to be willing to make someone else successful before we are successful.
Wow.
Right? Because when we are successful, when I am successful and have the right frame of mind, then we are successful. Like we do the show on the radio show. Every dime that I get, since I tell the people until I begin to be able to be syndicated or money coming in pretty good. If I say that is for that show, that is what that is for. You can write your check to WKRA. You can bypass the buffet, because I'm trying to teach my brothers and sisters how to become more knowledgeable by just simply researching and paying attention. One thing I think we don't do enough of as Africans, we do not recognize our resiliency. I mean, we have been marked not only by Europeans, but the influence of Europeans over Asians, over Eastern Asians, Arabs. They have taught them that the value of the Negro is less based upon his hue. And we have to undo that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And begin to, if America can say, buy American, made in America, buy from your small town, buy in Memphis local, why can't we as Africans say the same thing and not be offended for our master? Because most of the time, it's not the master. He understands. He don't shop with me. I'm not going to shop with him. I can't blame you. But we shop with him and won't shop with ourselves. And most of the time, it's because a fellow African has some issue, often jealousy, envy, hate of self.
That's right.
So it's a challenge. And I wish you well on your quest for 10,000 men. I'm going to be with you in spirit, and I'll be with you physically in many cases and many times.
Yes.
So we have to do this thing. We have to do it through Juneteenth, Ida B. Wells. I think it's sad that we cannot promote Ida B. Wells better than Chicago or better than Memphis. Right. Yes, she impacted Memphis. She impacted Chicago. She impacted the suffrage movement. She impacted England. She impacted the feminist movement, women's rights movement.
Right.
All of those things that she affected from a little place called Holly Springs, and we barely know where she was born.
Wow.
People around the world. And she stopped lynching. She made a lot of effort to stop lynching. Lynching's still going on today. But she addressed lynching. Unlike, we talk about Rosa Parks.
Right.
But this was in the 60s. Yes, it was dangerous in the 50s and the 40s or whatever. But it was dangerous. But when Ida B. refused to give up her seat on a train, she could have been in an unmarked grave very easily, without any issue. Around 1870s and 1860s, you know, she would have ended up in an unmarked grave. Many of these people, Frederick Douglass, took a chance of being in unmarked graves. And will have the only opportunity to cry out from the grave. And we don't want to hear them crying out from the grave today.
That's right.
But they gave their life for us, Mohammed.
Yep.
You know,
and
Rolanda, I say.
Man, look, thank you. Beautifully expressed. You know, as you were talking, brother, I thought about something the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that dispels this notion that, you know, black people are somehow inferior and can't do it as well as others. And what he said was, black excellence is what destroys white supremacy.
That's exactly, I say.
Because if you look at the Williams sisters in tennis, their excellence, as much as they hated them, as much as they faced at Roland Garros and all of these other places, their father had to deal with being heckled and mocked in the stands. But the one thing they couldn't deny, when them Williams girls hit that ball across that net, and them little white girls was crying and they was drinking their tears, they couldn't do nothing but bow to the majesty and the prowess of those sisters.
That's right.
On that tennis court. Well, that's in the physical. Well, in the arena of thought and ideas and intellectual thinkers, we are just as how can I say, capable in those arenas.
Right.
We're not confined to just being great athletes and entertainers and all of that. If you would study our history, as Sister Rolanda was talking earlier, our history is important because I teach it where I go and I talk to young people, brother. I teach them about the inventions, just the inventions of what we did while we were
That's right, I say.
Not even going back to when we were kings and rulers, but just the things that we enjoy and the technological advances, even the cell phone. Those ideas and inventions came out of the minds of black people. But what white America has always seemed to have been able to do is to steal our brain power and claim it as though they are the authors of it. So, you know, but hey, we got 12 minutes after, man, we're winding it down. I will open the mic, and I want to say this. I said this last week. I shared this last week, Sister Rolanda and Brother Kiefer. And it is for you all. Because you may not have heard it last week, and I always keep it close to my chest. Some words from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that I keep in mind when trying to do something good for our people in our community. Honorable Louis Farrakhan said these words, and I want to get your thoughts on it as we close. He said, "No one can attempt to help our people do anything productive and constructive without feeling personal hurt, pain, loss, being evil spoken of, falsely accused, sometimes beaten, sent to prison, or even put to death. This is the path of Jesus. This is the path of Muhammad, and this is the path of every sincere person who wants to see his or her people delivered from our present condition." In your closing comments, give us your thoughts on those words from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
I think they spot on. But it talks back to it speaks back to what you are trying to accomplish with the 10,000 fearless. You know, your scripture that we read, and perhaps it's somewhere in the Quran, that creation does not give us a spirit of fear.
That's right.
So we must be mindful that the spirit of fear does not come from our Creator.
That's right.
It comes from an adversary of the Creator. So when we act in fear, it paralyzes us and put us in bondage.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we are afraid, we won't speak up for the little kid that just got shot. But in a natural setting, when it's naturally done, you don't know what you will do. You're a police officer. You don't know what you would do.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know until it's time. But we must be prepared so we can respond in kind.
Right.
And we can't be afraid. And Christianity, I know, is a religion that teaches martyrdom.
Mm-hmm.
So where is the martyrdom? Where is the willingness to give one life for another? But yet we say we Christians, and that is the essence of Christianity.
Yes, sir. That's right. Give up your will to do God's will. Sister
That's
Rolanda,
right.
what do you think about those words? And I know, sister, when you try to do good, people always got something to say, don't they?
Show.
Always. But it's motivation for me, though, because our people, it's what our people need.
Yes,
that's right.
Yes. Beautiful. And see how short she kept that? It's motivation. You really can't give it too much time and attention, because it becomes like a dragon. It drags on your spirit.
Right.
So you have to, kind of be like a duck. You have to let it roll off of you.
There you go.
Because the way we've been reared as a people, the way we've been under the tutelage of a people whose objective was to marginalize us mentally, not just economically, socially, and politically. They wanted to mentally marginalize us, emotionally, psychologically marginalize us. And because we've been put in this condition, we still have the old proverbial crabs in the barrel mentality, and we are afraid for another black person to succeed. So when we see the Lesters doing good, you know how we say they think they something, they think they all that.
I'll say.
Well, what are they supposed to think? Are they supposed to think they're nothing? That's what I say. But why not? And that's one of the reasons that I was chomping at the bit to use this platform to highlight brothers like yourself, Brother Kiefer, to highlight sisters and like yourself, Sister Rolanda, and your husband, Brother Twan, and others that are in the community that's willing to step forward and do something good, because there has to be something to offset the backbiting that you get.
Yes, the slack
talk.
Call it slack talk.
Yeah, and the gossip. And that's one of the things in the Nation of Islam. You can't slack talk around us. We'll put you out for a little while and let you think about it. And there probably needs to be in our circles consequences for doing each other that way. But look, brother and sister, let's give them a round of applause. We certainly thank them for taking time out of their schedule. And Miss Lester, you are so busy. Twan, he couldn't even get on because he's still dotting the I's and crossing the T's for this weekend. Just to let everybody know that's listening, we have a booth. We ain't just talking. We support Juneteenth this year. We got us a booth. We're going to have some bean pies there, Brother Kiefer, and we're going to have that final call available. We're going to have books and tapes of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and information sources for our people to be better informed and well-rounded. There's a scripture that says, as I close on this point, the human being is born complete yet incomplete. You're complete physically. You got all of the faculties. If you're not born with any defects, you got 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, an organic brain. You can, all of the things you need. But the tablet of the mind is still blank.
That's right. I see.
So we have to be completed, and we need a thorough and accurate knowledge of self, proper knowledge of self, that we may have a healthy love and respect for self. Brother Kiefer, Sister Rolanda, I'm so glad we had this time together. Now, y'all know where that comes from, but I ain't going to do that.
I know that.
But thank the both of you so much for coming on. Hey, we look forward to seeing you this weekend, and may God bless the both of you. Anything that we can do with the Holly Springs Study Group, just give us a shout, and if we can make it happen, we'll be found trying to help, okay?
I say one love.
One love. Thank you all so much. Peace and blessing. Let's give them another round of applause. A big, big one. Yes. Family, we are on the bottom side. We got about 12 minutes left in tonight's broadcast, and we have come upon our cultural segment. We always like to share with our audience hip-hop culture as what our program was about last week. This week, we want to bring you the cultural segment, this week's cultural segment, a song from my brother Hakeem Muhammad. I was talking to him yesterday, and day before I talked to him Sunday. He is one of the hip-hop artists in the Nation of Islam. His recent release is entitled Final Call, and we're going to share with you a cut from that CD called Good Lord. You know how we say Good Lord? Well, the name of this track is entitled Good Lord. We'll be right back. Please enjoy.
Big problems, they say pray your words, but that ain't solving, that ain't helping. Lord, I'm melting, like I'm sick to the core, got me belching. This quarantine got us on the battle scene, like a semi-automatic handgun magazine. You ever seen a king get betrayed by his team? Left for dead, come back and coup d'etat the whole scene, like Kuna Matata, pop them off like bottles. The celebration for you, cause the beating tomorrow. Another unsolved mystery, misery loves company. Let them dig their grave, and hey, I'm dumping them. Bum when you see that thing shine. But this ain't 5-0, it's baby playing time. I'll be back, mama. We on cold in Minnesota, all through the shy. Down at the Phoenix, Arizona, even Dubai. The whole world been waiting for this song, thinking that you get away, you thought wrong. Thought it was my apartment, thought I used my taser. Choked out for selling loosies on the pavement. Killed her in her sleep, killing us too long. And you know damn well you dead wrong. Thought it was my apartment, thought I used my taser. Choked out for selling loosies on the pavement. Killed her in her sleep, killing us too long. And you know damn well you did wrong. Good.
I didn't kill myself. I wanted to survive.
Sandra, I might kill my enemies, but never suicide when the world collide. Clash of the Titans. Look, you don't believe in God if you don't believe in fighting. Lasers in the air, burning up the street. Cowards over there, turn the other cheek. Turn down, why? Huh? Baby plane, bomber plane, battle in the sky. We run this, unintended, running drills made day for the minutes. Where them gangsters at? Where the killers, the black on black killers and black on black dealers created a monster, one of a kind. Something changed his mind. Now he's Frankenstein. If the Janasalahi will father, here comes the help of God right after the verdict. Good Lord. Thought it was my apartment, thought I used my taser. Choked out for selling loosies on the pavement. Killed her in her sleep, killing us too long. And you know damn well you dead wrong. Thought it was my apartment, thought I used my taser. Choked out for selling loosies on the pavement. Killed her in her sleep, killing us too long. And you know damn well you did wrong. Good Lord.
When you put your money, 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 when you put your money in the church bucket, what do you get back? Hope in a future after you die. In my position on that, if I have to die to experience heaven, I don't need that religion. Anyone who tells me that I should be content with accepting hell on earth when the white man has his heaven here, and the Chinese man has his heaven here, and the Arab and East Indian has his heaven here, and they're even building their heaven in my ghetto, and you're telling me I got to die in order to experience what they are getting right now? That's a religion I don't need, because that's a religion for servitude. And so we have to put the black church to task and ask them, what are you doing with our Jesus money? Let me tell you what they're doing with your Jesus money. Every black church in America has their money in a white bank. It is the white banks that are funding the regentrification ethnic cleansing movement. So all of us go to church. We put $3 million in the church coffers every Sunday. $3 million goes to a white bank every Sunday. And guess what they do on Monday? They take $3 million of black people's white Jesus money and they give loans to white land developers and businesses and entrepreneurs to come into the ghetto where the church is located, buy up all the property, and force grandma out on the street homeless. Now, grandma been going to that church for 30 years. Grandma been giving that church $50 every Sunday. And lo and behold, grandma had to finally face the reality that it was your Jesus money that put your
10,000 fearless on the move.
Taste the difference. taste supreme. Enjoy our 100% natural Supreme Spring Water with natural calcium and magnesium, but zero fluoride and zero chloride. Our bottles are BPA free. Order yours today. Call us at 800-573-8033. That's 800-573-8033. Or visit us online at www.supremespringwater.com. Live supreme. Be supreme. Drink supreme. Supreme Spring Water. 801 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard, Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30314.
The Urban Indulgence Bath and Body Boutique. At Urban Indulgence, we pride ourselves on offering quality, effective skincare. Handcrafted with plant-based, skin-loving ingredients, our soaps and body butters will give you luxurious lather and ultimate moisture. Experience the Urban Indulgence at 3314 Poplar Avenue in Memphis, 3 blocks west of Poplar Plaza, or shop with us online at theurbanindulgence.com. theurbanindulgence.com.
What's your source for truth in news reports?
Justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Where do you turn for non-corporate driven news that's fair and balanced?
No shoes. No shoes.
Subscribe to the Final Call News, your #1 free and independent news source that delivers hard-hitting national and international news coverage of today's political, economic, and social issues. To subscribe to local home delivery, call us at area code 662-252-8999. That's 662-252-8999. Visit our website at www.finalcall.com.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
10,000 fearless
On the move. Brothers and sisters, that's going to bring it to a close. We certainly thank everyone for tuning in. Just a few announcements as we close out tonight's podcast. We want to make sure that you subscribe to the Final Call. As I said earlier, we are asking 1,000 households and between Holly Springs, Potts Camp, Victoria, Red Banks, and the surrounding cities and municipalities, subscribe to the Final Call newspaper. We will deliver it right to your door. All you have to do is give us a call at area code 662-252-8999. Or if you want to write us, you can write us at P.O. Box 517, Holly Springs, Mississippi, 38635. We will be giving you a subscription form, and it's only $2 per issue. That's $8 a month. Support us with $8 a month, and we use those funds to keep in circulation the best non-corporate driven newspaper. When you say non-corporate driven, that means we can tell the truth and not worry about losing some corporate support that funds our newspaper. Our newspaper is funded by those who read it. Subscribe to the Final Call. We need 1,000 of you. Call the number 662-252-8999 or write us at P.O. Box 517, Holly Springs, Mississippi, 38635. If you want to be a part of the 10K Fearless, you can also write to that P.O. Box, or you can join our email list. Just send us a tag and say, I want to be a part of the 10K Fearless. Send your email to dremuhammad1@gmail.com. That's DREMUHAMMAD, the number 1 @gmail.com. Also, make sure you support the Urban Indulgence Bath and Body Boutique. Just buy 1 bar of soap per month. That's all. Go online, type in www.theurbanindulgence.com. All one word, The Urban Indulgence. And make sure you support Supreme Spring Water. Be supreme. Drink supreme. Supreme Spring Water. Make sure you support it, okay? that's going to do it for this evening, and we'd like to leave you as we came before you with the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
10,000 fearless on the move.
Let's go. Deep in the delta where the willows grow, in the soil stained by the blood of my ancestors. Punch bowl voices call out to my soul for justice. The wicked will reap what they've sown. Spirit of Aziz is back on the rise. Soldiers in the delta kept it alive. Time to stand up, take our place in the sun. Understand the time and what must be done.
10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. Mississippi. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip.
Gotta make a move and take control. Have something we can call our own. So shine your light, help the people see that now is the time for us to be free. And if you waiting on the pie in the sky, you better wake up fast. They told you a lie, cause big fields await the wide awake man. Elijah's got the masses.
10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. Mississippi. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip. Injustice we've had enough. All of our divisions we're breaking up. Destiny has been calling us. The spirit of the Most High is guiding us.
See, the time is now. What you waiting on? Quit shooting your brothers. Put your gun down. Come on. They got a cage waiting for you if you keep that up. Early graves coming to you. From that, can't raise you up. Now, Sister Ida B and Fannie Lou, check them out and you'll know what to do. But if you really want your enemy to be alarmed, read the final call. Follow Farrakhan.
10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. Mississippi. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi.